if you're looking for rays of hope tied to the job market, because there are people, of course, hoping for that, you might want to watch for today's revisions to the May data. Now, John Ehrlichman is monitoring that angle of the story, and he's with us in our newsroom. John.
Hey, good morning, Chris. You're right about that. When the government reports its payroll numbers, we may see revisions to the prior month's figures. And we also know that in March and April, the job losses got smaller, which is something we hadn't seen in a while. We can show you a chart on this, by the way. March and April, if you take a look at this chart, show up as the green part of the screen. The revised job losses in those months were smaller than what the government originally reported, a contrast to the monster downward revisions last fall, which in some cases added nearly 200,000 job losses to the revised figures. Now, Moody'sEconomy.com economist Mark Zandi says a couple things about that. First, he expects today's report to continue the positive revision trend, meaning May's surprisingly small job loss could shrink even more. And second, that this is upbeat news only in the sense that the average American's job search is going from terrible to merely bad, given that job losses will average about 400,000 in the second quarter. But for Zandi, the ray of hope is that it's an improved situation from what we saw in the first quarter. He predicts job cutting will continue to recede the rest of 2009. And Chris, if all goes well, that we'll be talking about job growth in the early part of next year.
And certainly that report's going to play into the market, the culmination of a lot of economic data this week. So we'll be watching that. Thanks, John.